Hi, this is Baby, and yes, I'm in the spiritual streets. Okay, so I had this dream 5 weeks ago, and it's been on my mind constantly. This dream, if you have not seen my video, She Lost Her Mind, the Karmic Lost Her Mind, it was talking about, this dream was talking about how the karmic came into my space. Basically, I was in the divine masculine's house, sitting on the couch, just chilling, and she came up in there, and her friends came up in there, and my guys, they were very upset about it, and they didn't like the idea she came in my space, and she was claiming that she had the key to come into his house anytime she wanted to. Her and her friends, it was like two of them, and she was just bragging about how she got him wrapped around her finger. And it really did not bother me, but it bothered my guides. It bothered my ancestors. So next thing I knew, I was in her house, and she was shocked, and she was afraid, and her friends ran out the house. So she asked, how did I get there? And I'm like, I don't have nothing, the ancestor was like upset and said, don't you crossed the line, basically. So she has been doing a lot of different, spells and black magic and all this kind of thing. And she's been doing things to come between a divine connection. So that's just a short form of the story. Now, this dream that I had, I was in the divine's house, but the masculine's house, but I don't recognize his house. It was an open concept kind of home, and his home that I dwell in time to time is not. So it was like this big old counter, and I was like in a living room area, and him and 5 other females were in the kitchen, and they were at the sink. And so I was trying to talk to him to say what's going on, but he did not, I didn't get his attention. That's when I realized that I'm not there. I am looking through the eyes of spirit. So they began to walk, and I seen his face. His face was like he was not happy. His face was more like, I'm tired. It's done. I can't do no more. And he was more disappointed. He was more like giving up. And they were like disappointed, upset, their faces. And I could see each of their faces. So I recognized that they all had the same kind of clothes on. They all dressed alike. They all had on this black like jacket, and the shirt was like white, and it looked like a wizard, and they were more like witches. So it was, he was a wizard. You see what I'm saying? He was wouldn't say not a wizard. What did you call them? A warlock. He was a warlock. And the crazy thing is, he looked down and seen that he was dressed like them. And he did not realize that he was. He was so consumed of so consumed of doing his thing his way that he didn't realize that he had transformed into be just like the karmic. And that's when he realized that's the reason why he cannot be with his divine, because she's not going for it, And the girls and the ladies, because it was a couple younger ones, they was in their early 20s, and then it was some older ones that was like in their mid 30s or above, So they were like upset, and he looked down at his clothes, and he was looking like, what is this? And he looked at them like, what is this? And it was a young lady that was by the sink still looking at the dishes, and she picked up a bowl, and she picked up a plate. And this particular young lady that did that was some kin to him. She had to be either a daughter, a sister, some kind of kin. But I know she was like, she was a heavy set, not too heavy, but she was dark skinned with high cheekbones, full face, beautiful, beautiful skin tone. It was beautiful, beautiful skin tone. Her hair was natural, natural twist with seashells on it. And she was standing there by the sink. So he had told the other ladies, he was walking them out the kitchen, and he was walking them out the house. And they was upset. They was angry. He said he walked them out the house, and as they was going out, he was like handing out, he put his hand out as to say, give something to him. And what they did, they was giving him keys. So they had to give him his key to his house back. And he walked them all the way out the house. So I'm walking out the house. And as I walk ahead, there's a train. And I'm going towards the train. So now I see me and I'm in this flowing white dress that's trimmed in gold, and I have like jewelry on around my like a crown that came down to my forehead with jewelry hanging down. It was diamonds, and it was emerald, and it was a ruby and sapphire, and it was like trimmed in gold. So, and my feet, I didn't have no shoes on. It was my toenails was painted gold, like a chrome gold, like 14 karat gold type of gold, And I was floating. I wasn't on the ground, but my one foot was on the ground. The other one, I was leaping to take flight, basically. You know how it's like how you kind of, you start to run, and I was looking back, and then he noticed me. That's when he noticed me. And he noticed, and I was waving by, and I was smiling. And he was like saying, I love you. I love you. I really love you. And then he started saying, I'm sorry. I didn't know. So, but I just kept on going towards the train. And as I was going towards the train, still looking back at him, he looked back into his house and stepped back in, and he told, it was the one young lady that was standing at the sink. He told her to wash those dishes. to clean up this kitchen. And she picked up the dishes and she started to wash the dishes. And as she started to wash the dishes, her clothes that was black was turning to purple. It was turning purple, and then it was turned to like a lavender, like a soothing purple color. And he went over to the sink as well and started washing the dishes. And as he started washing the dishes, his wardrobe changed. It wasn't the wardrobe of a warlock nor a wizard. It was becoming, his wardrobe starting to look like mine, like with the white trimmed in gold. But I didn't stand there long to watch the finished results. I had went on and start going towards the train, and then he spoke out again. He said, "I love you, give us a try. I love you." So I still got on the train, and I'm looking. And the funny thing about the train is that when I was looking out the window, the the women that had to give him the key back, they were staring at me like with an evil look. They were staring, they was angry, and they was holding their steering wheels in their car. They was like just angry, but they knew they couldn't catch up with me because I'm in a train, and it wasn't like your regular city trains. It was like a Amtrak train, that goes from state to state type of train. So that's really stayed on my mind, because what this dream was saying is that all those dishes that was in that dirty sink, that dirty kitchen, those was all the spells that was done towards the divine feminine. And when he stepped into that kitchen, it's showing that he didn't know all of that was going on. But he was very aware of it at the same time. He was aware that these women did little magic here and there, and they may sprinkle this here and there, but he didn't think it was so much as it was. He didn't think it went so deep. He didn't think they was obsessed with their tactics. He didn't really think that these women was doing as much black magic, was doing much spell work, was doing all this as they were. He didn't know that. And he didn't realize that they've been doing it so long that they was using it on him as well. And that he had a big part of what is going on. That he actually helped them with the spell work. He did not realize that he was putting a wedge between the divine relationship. And once he stopped and looked at himself and looked at his clothes, looked at what he had transformed into, looked who he was, that's when he realized he had to make a change. That's when he realized, when he truly see himself, when he truly stopped being the victim. When he truly seen that he had hands in what happened to this relationship, to this divine relationship, that is when he seen truth. And that is when he told that person, kinship, somebody, he told him to wash the dishes and clean the kitchen. And he walked the other women out. They no longer had the key into his house. The house is the temple, your body, into you. But he regrets not paying more attention to what was really going on when he seen the divine leaving. And it's ironic, it was a train instead of a plane, because a train is faster than a car, but it's not as fast as a plane. So that means that divine is in the middle. There's a possibility. It's 50-50. But the divine masculine, he has finally seen himself. He finally realized everything that took part in this relationship, that he really was being a karmic instead of a divine to his divine partner. He finally realized that he is the cause of how the divine connection was broken. And he then realized how foolish he was to take time with these 5 women that were witches, and that were witches of the darkest light. They cast spells to destroy a relationship, not to mend relationships, not to bring light into a love, but they was there to destroy. That is where I'm at today. And that's where some of you guys are today. It doesn't bother us because we know we did what we're supposed to do. It's time for the divine masculine to see who he really is and what part he took in this relationship. And that he did go too far. That it transformed him to be just like the karmic, the negative karmic. And all these karmishas around him bit him time after time, which transformed him to be this warlock that he was not come to this place to be. This is Baby. We're in these spiritual streets. Protect yourself.